Idowu, do you want to talk about your role and what School Stirring does?
So we represent quite a number of UK companies in Nigeria. Quite a number of them are here. Can I go on? Yeah? Okay. Quite a number of them are here and are award winners at BETS. I don't know if I should name them. But anyway, we tend to select companies that are, what we would say, their products are functional. Their products are relatively inexpensive for our market because it's a market that where everybody thinks Nigeria is a country with so much wealth. It's still a country with a lot of poor, should I say poor schools? Yeah, because it's an educational market. Yeah. So a lot of poor schools who cannot afford a lot of these expensive products. But yes, it offers significant opportunities, and we look for companies that their products can easily penetrate into the market. So if you're a company, say you sell some IT product, what I'll say is, first of all, look for or ensure that the product that you're selling is something that is intuitive to anybody. Yeah, so you're not looking for those complex things. You're looking for the simple things. Yeah, you're looking for things that don't rely so much on the internet, so you can easily download, right? Maybe onto some server, and then it can easily be used widely. So you're not going to start doing cloud-based products to sell, because then that will be difficult, because you have challenges of IT, you have challenges of the internet. Internet is expensive. It's available, but it's expensive. I mean, downloading or streaming videos can be very expensive relative to what you would get here. So you have to always bear in mind that you should be able to download, or your customers should be able to download stuff which they can then share with as many users as possible. You also have to be very cost conscious. I mean, again, £5 in the UK, in Nigeria, is a lot of money. So you need to, ensure that whatever you do is scalable. So when it is scalable, then you know that you can minimize or you can spread the costs. If you're selling a very narrow market, it'd be expensive and it's not going to make sense broadly. So it's essential that what you're selling, you can sell to a broad range of schools. So whether it's the high-end schools, the mid-tier schools, or even the state schools. But if you're looking at the state schools, that's a different ballgame. Because then you have to be talking to the government, and government can be a complex process by itself. So I would advise again that if you're going to sell anything to Nigeria, look at the private sector. In Lagos alone, Lagos is the commercial capital of Nigeria. Lagos alone has about 5,000 schools, different tiers of schools. You have the high-end schools, you have the mid-tier schools, and you have the you could be a school sitting down there. But yes, you would have students as well. So you need to focus on the private sector, I would say. Yeah, because the population, there's a higher percentage of students in private schools in Nigeria generally than you have in public schools. I will say this because most parents prefer having their kids in private schools, which are to some extent funded, than they'll send your kids to public schools, which are not very well funded. So you tend to gain, in terms of scalability, you're better off, dealing with the private sector than focusing on energies on a long process that might not yield you as much returns, surprisingly, as the private sector will yield. If you have any questions for me, because I'm here for just 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, quick questions.
He's got to meet a minister in a minute. So I'm going to start with mainly the questions with him first. So if you do have any other questions, do kind of jump in as well. I just had a quick question, just in terms of, you talked about kind of focusing on the private sector of education. How long do you think that, maybe the infrastructure will be ready for, kind of like looking at the masses more rather than focusing on that?
The infrastructure is there. Mobile phones, there's a high degree of penetration of mobile technology in Nigeria. In the developing world, I mean, it has leapfrogged a lot of even developed countries, right, in terms of penetration. Nigeria probably has about maybe 80 million, well, let's say 60 million users of mobile phones. I'm sure it's more than that. And this cuts across everybody. You know, the ordinary, maybe you call it a bus conductor, has a mobile phone, probably has a smartphone. Yeah, I mean, the Chinese are in Nigeria selling a wide range of, mobile products. So there's internet penetration, there's mobile penetration. It's just the cost. Yeah, which again, I mean, I think anybody that wants to come into any developing market, especially a country like Nigeria, it's so much potential in terms of the population and in terms of even the potential real income. You just have to be smart about it, in terms of what you're offering. You could be offering things in maybe packets, in small bites. That's where the opportunities are. But not things that will consume so much data and at such high cost.
Yeah.
So it's there.
Okay. And just talking about mobile, I know mobile is a big market and loads of companies are actually investing in education technologies to make it more compatible with mobiles in Nigeria. I mean, how compatible and how much do kind of kids use mobile technology to kind of enhance the education experiences in Nigeria?
The content is not available. It's not widely available at the moment. So I wouldn't say in terms of usage for education. I wouldn't say it's wide. It's quite limited. Probably limited to a few private schools. And this is about content really. So you have companies like Microsoft that are trying to broaden the scope of availability of content, but that's just Microsoft trying to do their own, stuff. We also do sell content, but again, it's still limited. We sell content from a few companies here in the UK, but it's still limited to the upper end of the market.
Yeah.
So what we should be thinking of is what can we sell, broadly to everybody, and we've put our heads together with a few of our customers, and we're trying to develop things, that will make sense to a broad sector. Because again, I say it's about scalability. It's not about selling to one person. It's about selling, to 1 million people. And that's the challenge for anybody that wants to come into Nigeria. And I mean, before I go, I'll say, oil prices have dropped significantly. We're no longer in the era of $100 oil. We're in the era of $20 oil. Yeah, revenues have significantly dropped. Nigeria's oil is a major revenue earner for Nigeria. So anything now, and then there's a serious shortage of foreign currency. It's difficult to import anything. So really, the challenge lies in how you can localize content. Because I'm looking at it from a purely technology point of view now.
Yeah.
Even books, how can you localize content that will be affordable, right, to Nigerians,
and
to Nigerian students.
Do you have any advice on that in terms of localizing content?
Well, look at the curriculum, understand it, look at the content that's currently available, and I think there's so much opportunities there. If you look at the content that's currently available that's being used widely by, say, the low-tier schools, mid-tier schools, and the state schools, you'll see so much opportunities that exist within the content that students are using. In fact, I think you'll probably feel sorry for those students, so the opportunities are there, definitely.
And as School Storeng, as they are a major distributor, I mean, what do you look for in kind of British suppliers, and how can they kind of work with you?
We try to be very picky about who we work with.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'll give you an example. We work with a company just down here called Twig. Twig does science videos, and these videos they're amazing. They bring science to life. They make science. It makes science exciting for any category of students, whether you're poor, whether you're rich. Yeah. And the challenge now we face is again trying to localize this content. So maybe we could have more examples or more themes that are Nigeria or Africa related, rather than maybe more. But again, science is science. Science is not European. Science is, science is science. But we're trying to be sensitive to local environment. We're trying to be sensitive to the ability again to stream these videos. And we're trying to come up with products that will make sense for a broader audience.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if any of you had any questions for Idowu before he heads off, and then we'll begin our interview with Glory. Did you have any questions for Idowu? Pardon? Via email. I'm not sure if you had any questions for Idowu before he kind of heads off and we carry on with our interview with Glory. Do you have any questions? No? I think you need to head off, don't you? Otherwise you're going to be in trouble. You're welcome. And just Glory, if you want to carry on, so tell us what you think of there are opportunities in the Nigerian market, do you think? Where do you think there are opportunities for the UK companies?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I look after the education and training sector in UKTI Nigeria. In terms of opportunities for UK companies in the Nigerian market, there's a latest policy. Well, it's not really new, but the federal government, through the Nigerian Education Research and Development Council, have now emphasized the need to introduce science and technology into the curriculum across the 3 tiers of government. So from primary to secondary and the university institutions. So this has opened the doors, for partnerships, and it has opened the doors on the government level for UK companies to pitch in, and get involved in. And going by the population in the country, over 180 million people, with a growing middle class, and about 45% constitutes the young population, who are very diverse and really, really, innovative and excited about using mobile technology. I think Nigeria is definitely a market, that we can look to. I mean, my customer, Idowu, mentioned the different ways, the sort of criteria, that you could actually look to, to engage in without being marred by the infrastructure deficit in the country. And these are the sort of things that we should actually look into as UK companies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just in terms of UKTI Nigeria, have you worked with companies before to get them over to Nigeria? And what do you do to kind of help them? What services are there?
Right. Well, we are employed to support UK companies, interested in our market. And I know that many people have heard about the chargeable services that we deliver, but beyond the chargeable services, we like to engage with UK companies to know exactly what their selling points are. And then during our interactions with local companies or with government agencies, whenever we come through any such opportunities from them, we can easily match the UK company with the local contact without actually going through a chargeable service. So that is a very informal way of helping UK companies, which is why we come out to events like BET to engage with you, learn more about what you do, so that in the event that there are any existing opportunities in our market, we can do the quick introduction. But apart from that, UKTI offers bespoke services to UK companies. So if you're looking to you're looking for a distributor in the market, we can help with identifying and validating contacts within the market. If you're looking to launch your product and talk to a wider range of people, we are happy to organize events or workshops or seminars in our market. If we come across any event in our market that we know that will be useful for you to attend, we'll flag that such opportunities up to our partners in the UK. If we have high-level visits, VIP visits from the UK, who are looking to bring out a delegation to Nigeria, we recommend such companies to get to be on that delegation with UK ministers to Nigeria. This opens doors for them from the lower level to the highest level in government. So these are the sort of help that we can give to UK companies.
And just in terms of entering the Nigerian market, I think there are various business models. Sometimes, people say, well, look to work with a local partner. They work with other distributors. What would you suggest to those looking to kind of export to Nigeria?
It's always a very safe way is to look for a partner in country. Why? Why do I say so? A, it helps you penetrate the market better. Nigeria is a country where businesses thrive on relationships. They need to see you face to face very often. If as a UK company you want to do business in Nigeria, export to Nigeria, I don't think it will be a bit difficult, to go very far with yearly visits to the market, because the customers want to see you as often as possible. And if you have a presence in Nigeria through an agent or local partner, it shows a commitment, to your interest in that market, and they're able to penetrate whichever sector, that they need to and make the right contacts for you. So working with a partner is always advisable for UK companies.
And just in terms of finding a partner, I think some of the challenges UK companies find is finding the right person to work with. What advice would you give in terms of finding the right partner, would you say?
UKTI is here to support you in that regard. We know the market. We have the contacts. We can verify to a very large extent, judging from the information that we have about the companies. And we're able to advise if a particular contact should not be approached or should not be worked with, just by a few telltale signs. We're able to advise on any queries that UK companies have in terms of emails or things that look like scams, from the country. We're able to advise in that regard. We're able to check out companies, on your behalf, not carry out due diligence. I'm sorry, we're not resourced to carry out due diligence on companies, but we can recommend lawyers, commercial lawyers, to help you do that. But in terms of just finding out basic information on whether these companies exist and ascertain their business, we're able to do that. And also through the bespoke service that we offer to UK companies, we are able to identify partners for you to then make your choice on who you want to work with. We're also able to arrange a program, for you for whenever you want to visit the market. We can do a program arrangement, for you to meet with these contacts. That's how we support UK companies.
And I think sometimes UK companies find kind of marketing their product in Nigeria or getting the word out in Nigeria quite a challenge. What would you advise? What advice would you give to UK companies to kind of promote their products in Nigeria?
Again, Nigeria is a very, very large and diverse market, and if you went down the social media route, which is also a very, very growing market in Nigeria, there's always the issue of identifying the right person to work with, because you can get hundreds of interests for your product via social media, via public newsletter or publications. But then how are you able to verify that these companies are the right ones to work with? Some people do get lucky, working that way. But I think luck, that sort of route of luck in this case should be, can be quite expensive if everything goes wrong. So we are there to mitigate those risks. Please contact UKTI, and we can help you in that regard.
And in terms of any kind of trade shows, is that a big thing in Nigeria? Should you be going to kind of exhibiting at some of those?
We work with various exhibitors across the sectors, and the chambers of commerces usually put up a trade show as well. So wherever we think is relevant or will be suitable for a UK company to come and exhibit, again, it's important for us to know you and know the products and the services that you render, so that we can advise you on the suitability of attending these conferences.
And
so we do have a couple of them in Nigeria, yes.
Okay. And just going back to the social media aspect, I mean, what would you say are the kind of key platforms that people use? Is Twitter and Facebook a key thing?
I mean, the young population are really innovative and very excited about technology. So even from their mobile devices, no matter how cheap, the devices are, as far as they're smart, they get onto all sorts of, apps and platforms. So yes, Twitter, Twitter works. The Facebook is also very popular. LinkedIn is growing in a spectacular manner. As well as some other local mobile apps, that have been developed in Nigeria.
Okay. And just before we throw questions onto the audience, I just wanted to ask, what 3 key advice would you give to UK companies looking to export to Nigeria?
Think of the challenges as opportunities. They say Nigeria is a challenging market, but behind that challenge, every challenge is an opportunity. So think of it that way. And be very resilient when coming in and push, because it's the resilient companies that actually get the benefits from the country. Thank you.
Yeah.
And please contact UKTI. We can help you.